No ID is meant for a sane audience. No ID may contain liberty-oriented content. Pinko discretion is advised. Now, here's No ID with Paul Banducci and Scott Moskowitz.
Hey there, welcome back to No ID, mainstream media deconstruction for the great state of Idaho. I'm Scott.
Hello, Internet. I'm Paul. Great state of Idaho indeed. You know, we complain about being in Idaho all the time. I do anyways, because I'm a local and that's what I do. But overall, we have it pretty good compared to a lot of other places. Just look at LA right now, man. Their mayoral race is a great example of what happens in a place like that. The votes get tallied, but they don't matter. Good times.
Well, I have been assured, because I still have a relative in LA. My kid brother still lives there, because that's where I grew up, and so he's the last remaining holdout. He said that they're pretty sure the count is going to be done before the next mayoral election.
Well, that's a change of pace. Nice.
Yeah,
and
it was
speedy
refreshing.
This time,
Yeah,
huh? It'll only take them 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, what they'll do is, if it is close, they will do a recount, and then another recount, and then another. They will keep recounting until the Democrat wins.
I didn't even know they allowed anyone other than Democrats to run.
Well, mainly just for the illusion of choice.
Oh.
You know, they're into that sort of thing. I've been watching Washington politics for many, 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 many years because they're our neighbor. And for governor, there's always one national representative. I think it's a representative, might be Senate seat that has been close over the last few years, few election cycles, and it always comes down to a recount, and it always comes down to 2 or 3 recounts, and they recount and they recount and they recount till the Democrat wins, and then all of a sudden they stop recounting. They're like, all right, it's official. They've done it 3 or 4 times over there.
Okay, the Democrats ahead. We can certify.
There's 4 different elections, high profile elections in the last 15, 20 years where that's how it's gone. And the formula is the same.
Well, we here in North Idaho, specifically Post Falls, had a mayor voted in last November, and his name's Randy Westland, and he led I guess he called it a proclamation, a traditional family values proclamation. I'm not sure if you heard this in the chamber the other day.
Traditional Family Values Month proclamation. Whereas traditional families consisting of a natural mother and father, children, and extended family have been a cornerstone of society, fostering security, stability, and values of citizenship. And whereas the freedom to uphold these values, rooted in the laws of nature and protected by the U.S. Constitution, is vital to societal well-being. And whereas traditional families have declined significantly, with the percentage of households consisting of married parents with children declining from 52% in 1960 to 18% in 2020, while single-person households rose from 13% in 1960 to 28% in 2018. Divorce rates increased from 27% in 1950 to 45% today, and births to unmarried women rose from 5% in 1960 to 40% now. And whereas stable families yield lower rates of mental illness, addiction, crime, and teenage pregnancy, providing the lowest cost option for individuals and society. And whereas the Idaho State Legislature passed in 2025 HCR 18, declaring a Traditional Family Values Month to bring awareness to traditional families and the challenges they face. Now, therefore, I, Randy Westland, Mayor of the City of Post Falls, Idaho, do hereby proclaim Mother's Day, May 10th, to Father's Day, June 21st, 2026, as Traditional Family Values Month. In Post Falls, recognizing the value of families with a natural mother, father, children, and extended relatives. Celebrating the first week, including Mother's Day, for motherhood, the second week for sons, brothers, and uncles, the third week for grandparents, the fourth week for daughters, sisters, and aunts, the fifth period, including Father's Day, for fatherhood and marriage between a man and a woman. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the great seal of the City of Post Falls, Idaho, on this 19th of May in the year of our Lord 2026.
Well then, traditional families.
What would you imagine the comments, like on let's say if this were a YouTube video, how people were largely reacting?
I would say out of every 5 comments, 3.5 to 4 of them would probably be negative for one reason or another, different angles. But I'm sure, one angle being like, why are we wasting time and money on this? Another angle being, this is an attack on the gays. Another angle being just probably calling everybody in the room fascists, because there's always those people who like to do that. And then there, the 1 out of 5 is like, yeah, straight pride, woo. And usually, probably some boomer woman being like, well, I think that Jesus would approve of this. And then everybody piles onto her, that poor woman, and they're like, you're just dumb and old. The internet's it's an amazing place, but it also could be terrible. I could imagine the Facebook comment thread on this. And if it hasn't made news yet, but the Coeur d'Alene Press, although I'm sure it already did, that's probably where the real vitriol is hanging out. It's on the Facebook comment thread.
Here, I'll read a couple of them because they're entertaining.
You're there. Okay.
Yeah. Here, I'm prepared. Here's one.
Oh, I bet it's just nasty.
How about single moms who lost a husband in war? How about a blended family with stepkids? Are those families not valid? This is an incredibly narrow view.
What about that one person who lost a leg in 1942 and found a shiny penny the next day? Don't they count as people?
Here is we'll go back and forth between pro and con. Here's absolutely love this. Can you come be the next mayor of CDA, please? ! Now
that is wishful thinking. Coeur d'Alene is lost.
I am the mayor.
Here's the mayor, Dan Gookin.
Here's another one. Fine. But does Idaho support all families? No, I didn't think so. Shame on shame on Mayor Randy Westland. Shame.
Shame.
That's what it says.
Shame.
Here is a GIF that says it's a rainbow colored bouncing letters that say Happy Pride Month. Oh, there's a string of them.
Yep.
A string of them. Here's there's the hands making the heart shape with the rainbow flag in the background. Here's what.
Of course, yes.
Here's one. When will government return to serving its citizens? Whatever that means. Here's one. Their work to harm our LGBTQIA2+ neighbors, or are you praising their work to make Idaho the nation's scariest healthcare desert? Maybe it's the massive tax cuts to the wealthy, which resulted in a busted budget that local property taxpayers will have to clean up? ?
Wow. Tell me you don't know anything about anything without telling me you don't know anything about anything. That person is the poster child for a huge swath of the population, unfortunately.
Well, that's, you know what? It's not fair of you to say they don't know anything. They know all of the current placeholders in the LGBT acronym.
Yeah, things that are really important.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, poor Randy Westland. He should know better. He should.
Shame. 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 Shame.
Here's another one. How very sad that, quote, traditional values has come to mean homophobic white Christian nationalist ideology instead of freedom, community, and neighbors helping each other. We never had cultural hatred until about the 1990s. Now it has infiltrated everything, everywhere, all the time.
Well, we never had any issues like that because we didn't have the LGBTQ people and agenda pushing their shit. Trannies and drag reading to your kid in the publicly funded library is only a recent thing. Like in the 1970s, they would have just strung you up for that.
I don't know why you won't just hold still, man. We just want to read you a story.
Hold still. Take the medicine. This looks a lot like poison. Shut up. Put your mask on. So this is about what we'd expect. I mean, it's one of those things where I see what Randy's doing. It's and the city council, and it's symbolic, and of course a lot of people are going to be upset by it, even though it's one of those. It's kind of like when we've had to create some laws at the national level even that say, if you are an illegal immigrant, you can't get Social Security. Or things like that, or I think in Idaho even there was a law that basically said Sharia law will never be recognized in Idaho. And when stuff like that comes across the board, you just look at it and go, Well, I actually thought that had already always been a thing. Was that never in law in the first place? Like, oh, we had to turn it into law because it's a threat that it might be a problem. Oh, wow. Okay. So this is one of those things where we kind of do have, I guess, what you might call a straight pride month, or a traditional family month. And I'm just thinking, we shouldn't even have to need this. But here we are, 2026. It's a brave new world.
We're passing a resolution that we will not be changing the chiseled into the marble at the Capitol behind the legislators. The "In God We Trust." We will not be changing it to "In Allah We Trust." Like, oh, thank God. Was that on the table?
Apparently, I think a lot of things are on the table we just don't know about. So. Yeah, I guess that's my reaction. Is on one hand, it's cool. I guess I get the symbolism of it. I share I'm a big believer in traditional family. You and I just had a 30-minute conversation off air about traditional values and multi-generational family values and how they're finally starting to come back in some sectors. But they were the norm up until about the 1890s, 1900s, and then the turn of the century saw the demise of that, the quick, really, demise of that. So by the time we get to the 1970s, the silent generation and the boomers don't know anything different. And it's, mind your business. Don't help each other out. Move 1,000 miles away to where the job is. And you do your nuclear family and you see grandma or great grandma on, holidays. When the multi-generational family was the thing for 10,000 years of human history. Yep. But it's weird now, but it's also coming back.
Just so you know, it's pronounced nuclear. And for two,
nuclear.
If we were a traditional model of product of broadcast product, we would say something like, oh, and that's the Rough Cuts subscriber only conversation, the off-air conversation that was before the show. And if that's behind the paywall for subscribers only. But because we are not that model, because we function instead on the value for value model, there are no rough cuts. There are no conversations between Paul and I that only some hear and others don't. No, it's just the show. That's it. Those conversations are, just between buddies, and they would be over cigars if this were like, say, 5 years ago. But along the value for value lines, value returned from Northbound Signal, who actually sent in a clip, and his note says, there was an Ask Paul on episode 31 about people traveling to Idaho to get gas, and in the clip, nobody mentioned why gas prices are higher in Washington. Check this clip out. The clip is literally titled, "Why Washington Drivers Are Crossing to Idaho to Get Cheaper Gas." But they never mentioned taxes either, LOL.
What?
So here,
no way.
Oh, it's fantastic. Here is the clip Northbound Signal sent in. Thanks for the value returned.
As gas prices rise, some drivers are cutting back on trips or crossing state lines for cheaper fuel. Nonstop Local Rachel Turcotte joins us now in studio after speaking with an analyst who's looking at these trends. Rachel.
Yes, Morgan. Well, I got the chance to speak with Jeff Schlitt today, who works for Arity, which is a mobility analytics company. And he tells me that their data shows it was more the shocking increase in prices that drove people across state lines and not the prices themselves. Schlitt tells me the $4.42 average price of gas in March marked the highest surge in prices since January. And it was at that point that shows the data had a 10% increase in customers visiting Post Falls gas stations. But by the time gas prices settled around $5.50 per gallon, that increase had leveled out. He believes this represents drivers adapting to the new normal, and making different choices.
Yeah, catch that.
We also see in some cases people start to combine trips. What I mean by that is, maybe you go get groceries on a Saturday morning and, you would drive 8 miles there and back. Now on your way home from work, since it's convenient, you're going to stop in and get groceries. You're going to save that extra 8 miles.
Most people did that anyways.
Yeah, but he's speaking so authoritatively.
I mean, since the advent of the car, that's kind of been a thing. It's like, well, if I can hit 3 things in one trip, I'm going to do that. I don't know anybody who doesn't attempt to do that because what is that scene from Rick and Morty? Is like, that was always an option. Thank you.
No, this is much like generational living. This is brand new. People are just starting to do it.
But only because they're lame and poor, can't afford Washington gas.
And with summer travel season,
but we don't know why. We don't know why it's so expensive in Washington.
With a minute and 40-second clip titled "Why Washington Drivers Are Crossing to Idaho to Get Cheaper Gas," wherein we don't mention why.
And with summer travel season now underway and fuel costs likely to remain high for the foreseeable future, analysts expect drivers to continue to look for cheaper options, even if it means driving a little farther to fuel up. Morgan, back to you.
It's the new normal. So this made me go like, oh yeah, there's one of those beautiful top-down messaging apparatus catchphrases that was hammered into everyone's heads from every conceivable corner of officialdom starting in 2020. The new normal.
So gross.
And
yeah.
The new world order, new normal. So I pulled a couple of audio clips just to remind everyone of just how freaking psychotic psychotic and malevolent officialdom actually is, because it's easy to forget. Here, let's start with this. I titled this clip, "Some Dipshit in a Mask from the Mayo Clinic Repeating New Normal Over and Over." So this is a guy speaking through a face mask. Yeah.
Before we slightly switch gears or segue over there, I want to share the answer that the mainstream media didn't want to give us. Okay, why is it so expensive in Washington versus Idaho? Obviously, it's taxes, but more specifically, and the more you know, Idaho does have a gas tax too, and it's too much. Anything that's above 0 is too much, of course. But Idaho's gas tax per gallon, 33 cents.
Hey,
33 cents per gallon. Freaking huge.
It is huge.
And it's low. Across 50 states, it's below average.
Yeah.
Compared to Washington, it's downright cheap. Washington's rate is 55 cents per gallon. So if you're paying, and it doesn't matter how much the gallon of gas costs outside of that, if you're paying $3 a gallon, that means over a full sixth, 12.5% and change. What is that? 15% and change of your gallon of gas. Just whoop. That's just gas tax. Then here's the part that also doesn't get mentioned is the federal gas tax, which that's across the board. That's about 19 cents per gallon. So now that brings a total of, in Idaho, we're paying 52 cents per gallon in tax between state and federal. 52 cents. And do you know what the profit margin is for the gas stations? They make pennies.
Oh yeah, I was going to say it's got to be under.
And the profit margin for the
2%? Oil
companies, yeah, it is under. It's under 2%, and the profit margin for the oil companies is under 5%. It's very low.
The people actually provide
very low.
The product and the facilities are the one. Not that the oil companies are hard.
No, I'm not saying those companies are hurting. Like obviously Exxon's doing okay, but it's a matter of scale, right? If you make 5% on $1, that's 5 cents a dollar, but you do $500 billion in business. Well, you're making an okay living. It's a matter of scale. But in Washington state, it's 74 cents per gallon between the gas tax, state and federal. So, dude, like let's say again, normal gas prices of somewhere between $3 and $3.50. That's like a fifth to a quarter of your gas is just that. Then it gets better. And here's why I really wanted to drive this point home. Washington has a cap and invest carbon tax. And what it does is it's a straight up scam. Those are all scams. But what they do is they take a whole chunk off the top and then they supposedly, invest it into green energy type schemes. Mm-hmm. It's absolute Ponzi scheme type bullshit where they steal more of your money and then put it in the pockets of their friends and their business interests.
I have to say real quick,
run the green energy companies.
It's unfair to Charles Ponzi. Truly, because Charles Ponzi had good intentions in the beginning. He wasn't actually intending to scam people.
And he did it with private money.
Also true. Yes.
Yeah. And even managed, I think, up until the end, managed to turn a profit for him and everyone else involved, except for the latecomers,
That's
the late
true.
suckers.
Well, and you want, here's something
Government
else
can't even have the decency to do that.
Here's something else that's crazy, just to give you an idea of the selfless nature. Obviously, needless to say, I don't know him, but like from what it seems like, his sort of selfless nature. I believe when he was in his mid-20s, he donated skin. He like underwent a surgical procedure to give skin from his body for someone else to have a skin graft on their face, like a burn victim, and he like lived with scars for the rest of his life. I'm pretty. Oh, okay. You know what? Here, let's ask. Because Dan.
First off, how do you know so much about?
Because
this
I read
guy?
a biography about him once.
Random.
Dan,
also, is that where the skin in the game phrase comes from?
That's a great question. Let's find out, because you know what? Dan of the Dead wrote in and said, "Whatever happened to Chauncey?" And funnily enough, I think I mentioned this to you that Post Falls councilman Mark Luca, also last time I saw him at the Racketeer, was like, "Hey, whatever happened to Chauncey?" So there's been, and
why is everybody so excited to hear my replacement?
I have no idea, but
damn,
it's come up multiple times. So I brought him.
Well, I'm
back
gonna start taking it personally.
After reading Dan of the Dead's message, I was like, hearing this feedback repeatedly, I decided to get you on the line for this podcast, but we do have Chauncey back.
No, we're going about this all wrong. They don't get Chauncey until they pay. Become an executive producer, and then you get Chauncey.
Well, but I
wanted to. You're gonna replace me. You're gonna pay.
I wanted to
get a severance package.
What the what was the nature?
Okay, hold on. While you're dialing that up, though, I'm gonna finish this cap and invest scheme. Adds another 50 cents per gallon, another 50 cents.
Perfect.
So when you add it all up, it's $1.25 per gallon in Washington, $1.25 in tax.
So you hate clean energy, is that it?
I hate the environment. I hate clean water. I hate blue skies. I hate trees. That's why I live amongst all of it. I hate it so much. I had to move right into the middle of it. Just wake up and be like, yeah, fuck you, trees. I go and I cut one down every day out in my yard. One every day. And then I look at the rest of them and I go, you're next.
With the kids you hate as well.
Yeah, with the children I hate. I force them to help me cut down the forest in my yard. Yeah.
What was the nature of Charles Ponzi giving skin to someone to have a graft?
Are you asking Chauncey?
Yeah. Oh, why it didn't work? Why did it end?
Hey. Yeah. Where is your God now?
What the hell?
No Chauncey for you. I don't know, but I'm giving myself a bell for skin in the game. I thought that was pretty clever.
Can you hear me?
$1.25 in taxes.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. If there's anything specific you need or any adjustments you want to the audio, just let me know.
I was asking what.
Look, he's even telling you, don't bother me.
Got it.
What was the What was the nature of Charles Ponzi giving skin to somebody for a graft early in his life?
That's an interesting detail. So early in his life, Charles Ponzi, best known for the infamous Ponzi scheme, actually worked as a manual laborer and migrant. One of the accounts of his early years, particularly in Italy, mentions he suffered a serious injury and received a skin graft. The specifics aren't always fully confirmed, but some biographical accounts suggest he had a tough start and physical hardships that shaped his later life.
Wait, what?
He received the skin graft.
But that was not what I remembered. No, that's not right.
You mean to say
that's totally fair. The details.
Shut up. Okay, hold on. Now I got to make sure.
My favorite part about AI is when you go to correct it, it will change its answer to what it thinks you want to hear.
Yeah. Yes, and you.
I can't believe that. What was it? Sound Signal was the guy who sent it to us. Spokane Signal.
Northbound Signal sent the clip. Dan of the Dead asked about Chauncey.
No, I got that part.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not speaking to Dan of the Dead right now. We're not on speaking terms. He wants Chauncey. He wants Chauncey so bad he can talk to Chauncey. Shh. Well, thanks for the clip, Northbound Signal. I appreciate that. But yeah, so the more you guys know, Washington state tax per gallon, 55 cents. Federal tax per gallon, 19 cents. Washington cap and invest. I would say that in air quotes because really it's cap and steal. carbon fee, another 50 cents. That is why Washington gas is so much more expensive than Idaho gas. The
well,
more
cool.
you know.
So
I
yeah,
don't have that audio clip. How do I not have that audio clip?
Maybe we should title. Maybe we should title this show, "Not Giving the Reason for Why Washingtonians Are Traveling to Idaho for Gas," because we did give the reason.
Because we did give the reason.
Yeah. So if they're going to title their clip, "Here's why it's happening," and then not tell us why, we should title the show, "We're Not Telling You Why," because we did tell them why.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unlike the mainstream media, we will say the other thing. We won't guarantee that we'll tell you, and then we'll tell you.
Is that what you're looking for?
There it is.
So
yes.
here, just
Hold on.
so
Let me see if I can find my own.
So I'm not crazy. Charles Ponzi.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
Give me the blown out
Man,
version
that
of
audio file had vocal fry. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I wasn't ready for it.
Vocal fry warning. Vocal fry warning.
Charles Ponzi saved a nurse's life by offering his own skin for a graft after she was severely burned in an explosion while he was working in a mining camp. This act occurred during a time when he was trying to establish a utility. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, but yeah, no, I'm remembering it right, and AI is hallucinating. He offered his skin.
Okay. Is there more?
Is there more what?
Is there more to the story? Did they get married?
No, I don't think they were related.
I mean, you don't offer your skin to a woman unless you expect something in return. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay, well, that's a good, just very cynical thought. I don't think they had anything to do with one another. And let's see, find the mining camp had no electricity, blah, Ponzi, blah, blah, blah.
Cynical. It's just knowing human nature. Like,
hey, if you want some of this skin, baby, you know what to do.
Come on, man. In the words of the great Joe Biden, come on, man. You know this too. Like dudes don't do stuff of that level, not even close, for chicks unless it's like, yeah, I want to marry you or something along those lines.
Okay, Ponzi presented a plan to the town council to bring some necessary. He was at this mining camp. He was working on the formation of a business and the offer of stock options when he heard about a local nurse who he did not know who was severely burned in an explosion and needed a large amount of skin grafts. He saved her life by offering his skin, but in recovery lost the opportunity to open that utility company. And then traveled, and then he met some other lady and married her. So no, he didn't even know her. He had nothing to do with her. It just seemed to be a purely selfless act.
All right. Yeah.
Now I don't know what the hell was in the guy's head. Maybe he thought he was gonna be good public relations, so he could be the utilities guy. I don't really know.
It'd be a hell of a slogan for a utilities company. It'd be like Ponzi Power and Associates. We'll skin you alive.
So here is some of the new normal
like
stuff.
Rates so good, you'll know we've got skin in the game. Or I don't know. I'll keep coming up with stuff as we go along here.
Okay, good.
All right, what else we got?
It's going to be a show title in there somewhere. So here is some asshole speaking through a mask. He's apparently works for the Mayo Clinic, and he's giving an interview in a face mask, and you can kind of hear what people say. This is from 2022.
At the present, we're still in one of the surges of the pandemic, hopefully one of the, if not the last major surge. So we're not quite in this new normal phase yet, but we're getting much closer.
Oh, thank God.
As we move into this new...
Listen to that. We're not at the new normal yet, but we're getting close to the new normal.
We're not quite in this new normal phase yet, but we're getting much closer. As we move into this new normal, what that really will mean is that this becomes an endemic virus and requires some of the same measures that we require for the flu, like having a regular revaccination. During periods of high transmission, we may see some of these restrictions that we've been used to in the past 2 years, like wearing masks in place in certain settings, depending on local prevalence, strains that are around, and the vulnerability of people who are in there. When we look into the new normal, one thing that I'm certain will be a big part of it is vaccines. We know that there's going to be some need for regular vaccination, even if the cadence and type
this guy is
out there. But
he's really enjoying himself.
To the extent that a robot
these people,
can enjoy
they
themselves.
act as if like it's all a bummer. No, he's having a good time because like people like that love this shit. They get to exert authority. They get to be alarmists. They get to act as if they are the ones helping society and keeping the peace and being the voice of reason. They are so gleeful about this sort of thing. An emergency gives them in their minds, an emergency gives them a purpose to exist. They matter. When they talk about how, hopefully this is over soon. No. They're just saying
not
that.
Over.
They're loving this.
This part of it, and then we're going to emerge into the new normal. It's never over. It's a new normal. Or a little bit
never
more,
over.
Just a little bit more.
But it's likely going to look a lot like the flu, where there's going to be different strains and needs for regular boosters to prevent illness from coming back. Vaccines remain one of the best tools we have in this. Vaccinations are our fastest route back to the new normal. We can see this start to fade into being a more seasonal virus, which will still be important for several vulnerable populations. But with the right measures in place, we can live with this without it being the dominant feature of our lives.
With the right measures in place.
With the right measures in place, we can live with this. We're all in this together, new normals. Here's a buffet of crickets for you guys to munch on while you consider your next
Conspiracy theorist.
They're literally saying it out loud.
They're saying it. Okay, here's some talking head on a Fox affiliate.
Very warm welcome, everybody, to this.
Oh no, sorry. This is a like a TED Talk style speech from the World Economic Forum, I believe, from the same year, 2022.
Very warm welcome, everybody, to this CNBC debate. The challenge here, the conversation about the new normal.
And then here is a Fox affiliate talking head from the same era.
Well, many Americans are having trouble adjusting to the new normals. We're seeing it across the country.
And that's just a smattering. I mean, I could fill up 20 episodes of this show with nothing but clips of talking heads and other people in the officialdom apparatus saying new normal, a phrase that was never, it just appeared overnight from whence nobody knows, and it just was repeated ubiquitously. How does that happen?
How does that happen? Almost like it's a coordinated campaign, Scott.
That sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Or is it just more conspiracy theory, damn you?
Good times. Thank you for sending that amazing clip, Northbound Signal. Value return.
Yeah, thank you. That's just so perfect.
And let's see here. Let's move along to, let's switch gears.
Locals and visitors in downtown Coeur d'Alene are once again raising some concerns about loud vehicle noise. So last year, the city increased fines for excessive engine noise from $100 to $300 and then added some more police patrols in the downtown area. But city leaders say enforcement does remain a challenge, especially when officers are not in the right place at the right time. Our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press says officials are planning a workshop at the end of this month to discuss possible solutions, including traffic changes along Sherman Avenue.
So what I loved is I'm like picturing, I haven't been to downtown in a while, but I'm, walking along the sidewalk there at like 4th and Sherman and just hearing like jackhammering and like the loud diesel engines of construction equipment from the high rises that are going up over there.
Yeah.
And then some cop on a bicycle ticketing a guy who was like cruising in a Cadillac.
That might have to be the show art, Scott.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
yeah,
right.
A high rise and a guy with a jackhammer working on the high rise in the background, and in the foreground, a Coeur d'Alene bicycle cop ticketing somebody in an Oldsmobile or in a Corvette or something like that.
Yeah.
No, that's all a classic Coeur d'Alene right there. So being a local who spent a lot of time in the downtown Coeur d'Alene area as a kid, middle school and high school, because it was actually pretty awesome at the time. It wasn't so busy all the time, and it still felt like home. It was pretty cool back then. But I can speak to this. This is news every summer. Like this, I swear to God, this is an evergreen topic for 30 plus years. It's been noise complaints in downtown Coeur d'Alene every single year. This is not new. This is just hilarious small town shenanigans. Small big town. I think Coeur d'Alene's a big town now, but it's all relative. But the fact that this is even news is still hilarious to me. The people who complain about this shit are the ones who are in charge of their HOAs. They think HOAs are a good thing and they're in charge of them. It's downtown, man. What do you expect? Leave people alone, but they can't. They have to police everybody and everything. super hard. So hard they got to send bike cops after you, which really, that's like the ultimate humiliation. I think for everybody. It's like, if you want to be a bicycle cop, first off, you're obviously gay and lame, but also probably been demoted. And if you get pulled over by a bicycle cop, I'm just sorry for you.
I felt really gay last night.
Dan Guggen could have been a bicycle cop if he wasn't such a fat ass.
All right, here is the delightful leaders of Kootenai.
Could you imagine, though, like knowing what Dan Guggen looks like with a bicycle helmet, and him out there pedaling around, ticketing people for not bringing their garbage cans in on time or something, and everybody would just take it because they'd be like, oh, it's retarded. Okay, yeah, no, that's all right. Here, you give me that citation. You're doing a good job.
Here's the mainstream
Could be great.
Presenting how the Kootenai County leaders are going to be considering the 2027 budget.
Kootenai County commissioners took a first look this week at their proposed budget for the 2027 fiscal year. They will be meeting throughout the summer to try and balance the budget. They are likely going to be making some big cuts because they need to make up a $7.6 million budget deficit. So if commissioners
that all?
Yeah, actually, it could be less than that. You know what? Maybe we can do an on-the-fly Ask Paul.
Here comes the question.
Could you imagine being in the whole 7.6 million?
Before the game begins, it's Ask Paul.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
The talking head on the news is about to present a scenario whereby that deficit can, quote, only, end quote, be in the 5-point-something million. In what scenario will it only be 5-something million?
Ooh, let me guess. Raising taxes.
So if
I win.
Commissioners at 3%
specifically
more,
probably impact fees. Either one of two things. They want to raise impact fees, which is just another tax because it makes it more expensive for developers to build, and it makes it more expensive for you to buy the home from them. That's the one that everybody loves to harp on hard. Or they're going to encourage the county of Kootenai to take the maximum of 3%.
So if commissioners add 3% more in property taxes, that 3% more in property taxes, they'll only need to then figure out about $5.6 million from the budget.
How the hell does taking the full 3% only net them another $2 million in the county of Kootenai? How does that even work? I don't understand. There's so many people who live in Kootenai County, and if you're taking the full amount, what? There's no way that only amounts to $2 million and change. That the math doesn't math. There's no way.
I don't know. Good news, everyone. They're going to max out the property tax increase.
Okay, this goes right back to what I said last podcast. I've got to say it again, and I might just keep saying it. Like 3%. When they take it from us, it's only 3%. But when they have to cut their budget by 3%, the sky is falling. Just think about that. Think about what a double standard that bullshit is.
I think there's a perfect example of that exact tactic. It's the latest raw milk propaganda scare. We've covered it on this show before, and the media, the mainstream apparatus absolutely hates raw milk because, of course, they're doing lobbying work on behalf of big dairy. And the type of person who would be drawn to something like raw milk is the type of person that is likely to distrust the mainstream apparatus. Hence, they hate raw milk and us. Here's a perfect illustration of the use of percentages versus raw numbers when the mainstream media is propagandizing. Raw numbers.
Idaho health officials are warning people to stay away from unpasteurized raw milk. This follows 2 outbreaks linked to drinking raw milk. The Department of Health and Welfare says nearly 60 people since May 19th have become ill after consuming raw milk. DHW says at least 45 of those people tested positive for a bacterial infection. The agency is now investigating to identify the potentially contaminated batches.
So I did a little ChatGPT math. I was like, can you give me an estimate for the amount of people in the state of Idaho who regularly consume raw milk? And it was like, well, based on national averages, something like 4.5% of people regularly, whatever. And so if you do use that as a number, it basically came up with about 25,000 on the low end, maybe maybe up to about 60,000. So if we use the low end number of like 25, 30,000, 60 out of 25 or 30,000, you notice they don't do the percentage in this case. They do the raw number.
No. We'll just even go, we'll really give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say it's only 20,000 people in the state of Idaho, which I bet you it's double or triple. Let's just go with 20,000. 0.003. So it would be 0.3% of raw milk drinkers.
Raw milk? Think of it as raw sewage.
That is Dr. Celine Gounder, and I use the word doctor very loosely, from a 2024 interview on, I believe it was NBC, and she was explaining how that here's how to think.
Raw milk? Think of it as raw sewage.
She's serious.
Thanks. Yes, she is serious. Also, speaking of being deadly serious, if these numbers were for the flu or variants of the flu, it would already be an epidemic and an outbreak, and they'd be telling us to mask up and get our vaccines.
It's the new normal.
Raw sewage is the new normal.
It's heavily fecal contaminated. Think about, where the cows, their feces are,
Where their feces are. Cows poop out of their udders, according to Dr. Celine Gounder. Here's Idaho News 6's, but now it's because this is what the mainstream apparatus does when it wants to propagandize about a topic. It blankets every network with it, where like those old movies where the bad guy was on he had taken over the television, and no matter how many times you moved the clicker forward a channel, there was the same talking head.
Raw milk supporters point to its benefits while health officials point to its risks. I'm your Canyon County neighborhood reporter, Victoria.
You see how they do that too, where they're like, just you dumbbells who support it, here's what you say, and here's what the officials and the experts say in contrast.
Speaking
I bet you, what do you think the percentage of raw milk supporters being far right are?
KKK. Even though that was Democrat.
Raw milk supporters point to its benefits while
do you drink milk while wearing your white hood? Then you might be a raw milk supporter.
You're only supposed to wear the white cloth over your face, not your whole head, man. Come on, this is the new normal.
I only drink milk from a mason jar raw while wearing my white hood. It's the only way to consume milk.
Raw milk supporters point to its benefits while health officials point to its risks. I'm your Canyon County neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez.
Friendly neighborhood reporter.
Friendly neighborhood reporter.
Demand for raw milk remains high in Idaho, despite the 60 reported illnesses across the state.
They do the raw number as
you
well.
have to have a warning label on the raw milk, just like you have to have a warning label on a pack of cigarettes.
What? Show art. You've got show art. Okay.
Hold on. What do you describe?
Mason jar of raw milk
Uh-huh.
next to a pack of cigarettes.
It's
and a
not
warning
as strong
label that
as
says,
the jackhammer high
may
rise.
kill you. I didn't say it was the best. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Next to, I'm writing it down, next to pack of stogies.
Or maybe you could have one of those big signs that they put up at like the beach, and it has a list of all the things you can't do, and it has the pictures with the circle and the slash through.
Yeah, the
so
dog.
maybe we put together like that's the show art. Yeah, no milk, no raw milk, no cigarettes, no keeping your own money. So you could have like
we're getting awfully close now to the ban bingo.
Oh, we are, aren't we? Well, I mean, dude, with hundreds of thousands of regulations out there between the feds, the states, the counties, and the cities. I mean, we're going to have a ban bingo 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. It's bound to happen.
You have to have a warning label on the raw milk, just like you have to have a warning label on a pack of cigarettes.
Idaho health
just
officials
like the
are
cigarettes.
investigating 2 outbreaks linked to raw milk. Since May 19th, nearly 60 people in the state of Idaho have reported illnesses after consuming raw milk, with at least 45 testing positive for campylobacteriosis, a bacterial infection. At Lazy SP Ranch in Middleton, Cassie Strohmeyer walked us through her raw milk production process. Before milking begins, each cow is cleaned and disinfected
right
to help
before we
reduce
shut
the
her
risk
down.
of contamination.
Yeah, okay, blah, blah, let's move on here.
While some consumers seek out raw milk because
according to the mainstream media, raw milk is equivalent to raw sewage and cigarettes. All right,
you nailed it.
The more you know.
Okay, here let's now I can do those back to back. Here we go.
Raw milk? Think of it as raw sewage.
While some consumers seek out raw milk because they believe it offers health benefits, the Idaho Dairymen's Association...
They believe it offers health benefits. The far-right KKKers don't know their freaking ass from their elbow. They believe that it does, but here, let us quote the experts and we'll learn you good.
Because they believe it offers health benefits, the Idaho Dairymen's Association says the risks outweigh...
Which is a lobbying arm. It's a lobbying arm for big dairy. But here's the experts, as the mainstream tells you. Here's what to think, consumer.
Says the risks outweigh the rewards.
There's reasons we pasteurize milk. It provides a much safer product.
This, by the way, they don't say, but it's the voice of Rick Nurabout, who is the CEO of the Idaho Dairymen's Association. He is a professional lobbyer.
Reasons we pasteurize milk. It provides a much safer product, much less risk to the consumer.
Health officials say raw milk can contain harmful bacteria and may pose the greatest...
Wait, who says it?
Health officials say raw milk can contain...
Health officials. Yes, if you recall.
And the spokesperson of the industry that has no desire for competition.
No, that has nothing to do with it.
Also, we were reminded a few weeks ago that, but don't forget, King Ag. Don't you mess with King Ag.
For your safety.
We were reminded.
So the health officials that this talking head is citing...
Health officials say raw milk can...
Yeah, health officials. That's the same health officials that told you should wear 2 masks outside because you can have it and not know it, while they themselves weren't masking. They also told you to stand 6 feet apart, and then 5 years later admitted they made up the number 6 feet out of nowhere. They closed hiking trails and parks and beaches and schools while hammering payrolls for all the teachers and administrators. Maybe they closed them for years, depending on where you were. Oh, and Home Depot and liquor stores never stopped operating. They attempted to force the entire population to inject an experimental pharmaceutical product and then make participation in society for the unclean impossible unless you complied. Yeah, those are the health officials that she's citing.
Health officials say raw milk can contain harmful bacteria and may pose the greatest risk to young children, pregnant women, older adults, and those with weakened immune systems.
You know, you can have death as a result of some of these illnesses. So I don't want to make light of it, but really, the symptoms are...
I don't want to make light. Don't worry, dude. You're not making light of it. Where did that come from? I don't want to make light of it. He just said, you're going to die. I don't want to make light of it.
He's talking down to us. I don't want to make light of it. Basically, like, you're stupid if you don't disagree with raw milk. If you don't fully consume what we're saying, then you're stupid. And I don't want to laugh at you because we're talking about death here, but you should be laughed at. That's what he's saying. That you're so stupid if you disagree with me, and you should feel bad, and I should make fun of you. I won't, because there's potentially death involved, but otherwise I would laugh at you. I mean, the hubris and the arrogance to take that stance. But this is a common theme across the spokespeople for Big Ag, across the mainstream media, across our glorious leaders. They all have this same holier than thou, haughty, HAUGHTY, haughty attitude, where, anybody who disagrees with us and our worldview and our narrative is a knuckle-dragging moron, and we should laugh at you. And they do. They laugh at us, mostly behind our backs. But again, as usual, they tell the truth if you listen. If you really look and really listen, they're laughing at you to your face. They're laughing at us, I should say, to our faces. It's right there.
When I hear the laughter from the talking head, large conglomerate lobbying arms executive set, if I hear their laughter, I know I'm doing the right thing.
If we hear their derision, we definitely know we're doing the right thing.
You can have death as a result of some of these illnesses. So I don't want to make light of it, but really, the symptoms are usually you recover from them okay, but they're really quite unpleasant.
Still, Strohmeyer says many of her customers continue choosing raw milk despite those warnings. And while Strohmeyer understands the concerns surrounding raw milk, she says her small operation takes a different approach than larger dairies.
Bacteria levels, the chloroform levels, maintaining the cows, everything like that. I have no ill will against big dairies.
What?
State officials are still reviewing it.
Whoops. I didn't edit that.
They have ill will against you.
That's what, yeah, exactly. Like that's what the Idaho News 6 included from the lady running the raw milk dairy farm that they included in this report. So what did she just say? And it says Idaho News 6 is trying to paint her like an idiot. I don't know if they picked an idiot or if they just edited it to make her sound like what was that?
Bacteria levels, the chloroform
Any
levels.
of those things are possible.
Maintaining the cows, everything like that. I have no ill will against big dairies.
What?
No, that definitely was clipped. Like,
It must be.
No, I mean, I don't mean it was edited, but they didn't smash two audio clips together. But what they did was they took the end of one thing she was saying and the beginning of something else that she was saying, where they asked, I guarantee you, they asked her a question about like something along the lines of like, well, what do you do that's different, or what procedures do you take to make sure this doesn't happen? Or what could contribute to such a problem. And so that's what she was answering. And then switching to, I don't have ill will against them for, something along the lines again of like attacking me or making these remarks or being alarmists or putting pressure on us or, from like they can do their thing, I can do mine. So that's what that was. They clipped it and she was in the middle of answering one thing and then segueing to another thing. And that's why it seems so weird. Guarantee you that's what they did.
Maintaining the cows.
And it would make sense if you got the bookends of what she said.
You're probably right.
Maintaining the cows, everything like that. I have no ill will against big dairies.
State officials are still reviewing the outbreaks linked to raw milk consumption.
Yeah, they're reviewing it. Okay, here's the final part of this before we take our mid-show breather. As long as we're trusting the experts and following the science, here is an MD. If you guys love your experts so much, here is a physician as opposed to a dairy lobbyist or a talking head from Idaho News 6. Here's an actual MD. How do I know which experts to listen to?
This is why you should be drinking raw milk. Let's start with the benefits. Consumption of raw milk in kids who
Not
grow
that
up
expert.
on or off
Wrong
farms
expert.
leads to lower rates of asthma, eczema, and allergies in adulthood. Raw milk has been associated with beneficial changes in the gut microbiome, including increased levels of lactobacillus. And raw milk also contains the highest levels of MSM, a compound studied and found to improve joint health. Interestingly, in studies looking at raw milk consumption, it's been found to be as effective as breastfeeding in reducing respiratory tract infections in kids. Raw milk also contains multiple factors: lactoferrin, lysozyme, lactoperoxidase, immunoglobulins, which are protective and prevent the overgrowth of pathogenic bacteria in the raw milk. Raw milk also contains over 700 species of commensal bacteria in the actual raw milk fluids. There are multiple ways to drink raw milk. Even if you're lactose intolerant, you can do kefir, which is a fermented raw milk. You can do raw cheese or raw butter. No matter how you get it, getting raw milk, raw dairy in your diet is definitely going to improve your health. You're welcome.
How, Paul?
Yeah,
how do
well,
I
because
know?
it's almost like the nature is designed in that way to provide the bacteria and the protection that baby cows and humans can benefit from. It's the same reason why when it comes to humans, breastfeeding is considered such a good thing and a big deal, and why for 10,000 years of human history it was the way it was done, and only in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s was baby formula all of a sudden a thing, and it was pushed really hard. And then guess what they have found out? Generations of people raised on baby formula lack a lot of the gut biome that humans used to have for 10,000 years. And all of a sudden you've got a lot of gut issues and people unable to digest things or and they don't have a very good immune systems, because the gut is your second brain. It really is connected to everything. The gut axis, it's connected to everything. Your eyes, your nervous system. I've experienced it myself in the last 3 or 4 years as I've dealt with my own internal issues that are derived from my gut, my small intestine, my colon, and the permeability. I've had issues where with my gut where if take the wrong supplement or take the right supplement, but take it for too long and it gets into my eyes and my eyes have gotten cloudy from it. I mean, your gut is connected to everything. So it matters. What he's saying is true. We're so disconnected. And again, only in the last 100 years, give or take, we're so disconnected from the natural order of things. And it's been such a short amount of time that we're only now starting to see some of the effects and understand how disconnected we've become and the the consequences of that are physiological consequences. So there's always risk, with all those microorganisms and bacteria in raw milk. Yeah, there's going to be some risk. Life is full of risk. I mean, you can't operate. Well, a lot of people try to operate where, things are dangerous. We got to ban all things. Well, okay, good luck to you. But please don't include the rest of us in that bullshit. Life is risky, but it actually can be a lot less risky if you inoculate yourself against a lot of that risk early on. And getting the right bacteria in your gut, that's a great way to do it. So breastfeeding's a good thing. Raw milk is a good thing. I can't even drink it, but I'll still tell people, yeah, if you can, it's a good thing.
And I don't care what you drink. Or I'm just presenting how freaking disingenuous the mainstream is when they present these topics.
Word.
100%.
And
by the way, everything you just said, man, I mean, it's really sort of like, it's a little complex. It takes a little bit. It's like a longer form explanation. Takes some time to consider what you outlined. I think we should really simplify our messaging to something that sounds more like this.
Raw milk, think of it as raw sewage.
All right. Raw milk, think of it as raw power.
Boom. Speaking of raw power, the value for value from the model we run on, value for value, is raw power. Because you know what? This program is not brought to you by the Idaho Dairymen's Association. They can pound it up there sideways. What do you think about that?
They can shove it up their udders.
Value for value is a very simple model. It is the inversion of the normal model that these types of shows and stuffs run on, which is to have people's ears and then inject other third-party products into those ears by hawking or doing live reads or otherwise promoting brands. We don't do any of that because we wish to remain free from outside influence. Instead, the value for value model, as pioneered by John and Adam on No Agenda, who've been doing it for almost 20 years, is simply direct support if you find our show valuable. We're just return value to the program. We try to put value out there. We ask that you return value if you find it valuable. Super simple. There are three main ways to do that: time, talent, and treasure. You heard a little bit of the time and talent category earlier. You heard a clip that was sent in. You heard messages that were sent in.
Awesome.
Feedback about what people have heard on the show, what tickled their funny bone, what stuck with them, and taking the time to send suggestions or messages or clips or show art or anything else our way is value returned, time and talent. You can do all that at noidshow.com. There's a contact button. There are various buttons to click for all of the ways to return value, time and talent, and treasure, which is obviously a huge value return too, just straight up fiat currency. There's like a PayPal link and a Venmo link and a Patreon link and all sorts of ways that you can send whatever value means to you. It could mean anything. We love numerology. There are some menu items for predetermined amounts, which, I looked up when we were talking about 33 and it should be $33.33, not just 33. When I went to go on the website to make that change, it already was 33.33.
Was it already there?
Oh yeah. I misremembered it.
Ew.
Yeah. I would have missed an opportunity to add another 33. No way.
Got to play to your strengths, Scott. It's a good job.
That's right. And we if you would like to donate if you would like to send value back via treasure, that would make you an executive producer of the No ID Show. So please go to noidshow.com and return value to our program if you find it valuable. The value for value model. There is a value returned suggestion for a mid-show song this is DJ Paul. So somebody wrote down the song on a piece of paper, folded it up, and put it into the glass jar on Paul's piano. And when Paul opened it up to look at the request, what did he have to say?
In not so subtle terms, if you guys want to hear more Chauncey, you got to become an executive producer. Paul needs a severance package. If you want less Paul and more Chauncey, you got to give Schmeckles first off. And if you want to make song requests, same game, fam. You got to become an executive producer. And I will leave you with that thought while we take our break.
F you, pay me.
Sound like trouble? Well, trouble's my business.
I can't handle any more drama. I'm moving down to Tijuana. I'll grow a jungle of marijuana and spend my days like a prima donna. I love the trouble, and it keeps coming on the double. That's alright. That's alright. Fuck you, pay me all my love inside of all my soul. Hey, give me the gold. Fuck you, pay me, I'm not trending. This is me transcending. Hey, give me the gold. This morning down at the grocery store, I was picking up my things, but I really want more time off. Time off. Bills and taxes and empty promises, cloudy days and all the endless drama of this life. I guess it's alright. I love the trouble, and it keeps coming on the double. Like me, Roy, I'm a professional, you can lean on me. I love the trouble, and it keeps coming for me on the double. That's alright. That's alright. Fuck you, pay me all my love inside of all my soul. Hey, give me the gold. Fuck you, pay me, I'm not trending. This is me transcending. Hey, give me the gold.
Mama said to chill out. Keep overflowing and that juice is gonna spill out. Hit him with the feet, ain't a damn thing free. Put the bill down, money over. Drummer hit him with the fill sound. Ooh, I been on it baddest, rip around. Take your medicine. I ain't trying to have you freaking out when it settles in. Pop the lights on like a medicine and turn this shit up into the reticent. I like the trouble when the girls with the butts like a bubble. I got it all figured out, little mama come and ride with me, yeah. I got a duffel bag in the trunk and a couple 18s bumping that old school D.O.G. Yeah.
I can't handle any more drama. I'm moving down to Tijuana. I'll grow a jungle of marijuana and spend my days like a prima donna. Fuck you, baby. Love inside of all my soul. Give me the gold. Fuck you, baby. I'm not trending. This is me transcending. Hey, give me the gold.
I like your taxes. I like your taxes. I like your taxes. I like your taxes.
There you go.
I'll bet you do, lady.
Banger and apropos.
We do appreciate everybody's listenership, though. I want that on record.
Very much so. Okay, second half of show.
You know what time it is, Scott.
I am pumped up. I'm doing a pose down in front of the mirror. I'm doing that thing where I'm making
right.
my pecs dance to the rhythm of this song.
I can only get so erect.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yay.
Gotta put on shorts with your name on it. So everybody knows who you are.
For a gay time.
You're so sporty. Speaking of experts.
Go.
We do love our experts around here, don't we, Scott?
So very deeply.
The 6-year anniversary of this event came up, and I couldn't resist. On June 2nd, dozens and dozens of public health and disease experts signed an open letter.
I already know the answer, and you haven't
support.
even asked the question.
Well, let me finish anyways.
Okay.
They signed an open letter in support of nationwide gatherings.
Uh-huh.
And in this, they said, blank is a lethal public health issue that predates and contributes to COVID-19. Fill in the blank, Scott.
The North Idaho NAACP judge is staring at me, but you know what? I don't even care. I'm going to answer the question, man. You can't stop me. Racism.
But more specifically, not just any kind of racism,
Right.
not racism in general, of course, because don't you know, Scott, only one group of people can be racist. So it's white supremacy is a lethal public health issue
Oh, yeah, white
that
supremacy.
predates and contributes to COVID-19, end quote.
Yeah.
They wrote that along with lots of other terrible, terrible bullshit. Just the absolute junkiest of junk science. If ever there was junk science, these people are the headmasters of that school.
Let's pull up the...
So didn't you know?
Let's see. We're going to go NPR saying like how they phrased why it was a good thing to gather for the George Floyd commie riots, but it was a bad thing to gather for anti-lockdown protests. There was the way that they framed
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because in their very humble opinions, they said, we continue to support demonstrators who are tackling the paramount public health problem of blank.
Racism or white supremacy.
Pervasive racism.
Pervasive, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It as if it's a disease. Meanwhile, there actually is a disease flowing around, one that,
so they say,
might kill you if you're old, but otherwise it's okay.
But everything might kill you. Walking downstairs might kill you if you're old.
So they said this too, with as public quotes, as public health advocates, we do not condemn these gatherings, and the gatherings they're referring to are the protests, specifically the George Floyd protests and the BLM gatherings and the quote anti-racist protests. It says, we as public health advocates, we do not condemn these gatherings as risky for COVID-19 transmission. We support them as vital to the national public health and to the threatened health specifically of Black people in the United States. End quote. This is literally two-tiered justice. This is two-tiered science. How does this even work? This is science based on race, which last time we checked through a different lens, or only a slightly different lens, is eugenics. That's eugenics.
Well, all the cool kids were into that too.
Like, there was a group of people not that long ago who quite literally tried to find diseases that would only kill certain demographics. That was one of their primary missions, was to find ways to target specific races with deadly diseases. Yep. That's eugenics.
Yep.
This is just a softer, at the moment, for now, it's a softer version of eugenics. Be like, yeah, so you know what's killing Black people in this country? White supremacy. But you know what's not killing them? COVID-19, which we're demanding you all stay home for, double mask, octuple vax for, but not Black people. Black people can go out and protest with white people, but mainly with other Black people, and burn down Black neighborhoods and Black businesses, and they can't get COVID while they're doing it. But everybody else stay inside. Yes, I know this hits particular home for you, Scott.
Yeah,
because of the moment you had, the ding-a-ling-a-ling moment you had one day. Well, you tell the rest of the story.
While standing in front of my boarded up business watching the
As you
commies
were boarding
have the
it
riot
up.
in the park. Yeah. Well, but it's important to note, speaking of percentages versus raw numbers, it wasn't blacks that were gathering that I watched those masked up commies. I mean, there were some blacks, but there were some everythings. But the for sure vast majority of them were whitey.
Yep. Which makes it all the more ironic. I mean, and that's why just a minute ago I was kind of going, I was focusing on the black aspect of it because one of the richest ironies of the whole thing is that it was probably 80-20, 80 white, 20% black.
Yeah.
Because nothing says I'm pro-black and I hate racism like burning down black neighborhoods and black businesses as a white person. The Ku Klux Klan in the Aryan nations these days, like the modern versions of them, because they still exist. They're out there, but they're a lot smaller and they're a lot more covert. But they don't have to be active. They just let leftists do what leftists are going to do, and they get the mission done for them anyways. Because the modern leftist is basically like, oh, you're too stupid to get voter ID. You're too stupid to get a driver's license to vote. We have to help you. You're too stupid to do anything on your own. So we have to help you, which is super racist. And also, hey, we don't believe in police brutality or whatever. We're pro-black, so let's go light your neighborhood on fire. To solidarity, brother. Meanwhile, the KKK is like, oh, well, our work here is done. We don't. Why are we even here? Thanks, lefties. You did it for us.
Here, check this out.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and I'm here in Berkeley, California to find out if voter ID laws suppress the black vote.
that song, that's great.
Yeah. So he says he's just walking around.
Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad. I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
So white
Do you think it
chicks.
suppresses the African American vote?
Of course they are.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to
That guy
have
was a white chick,
state
too.
IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs
These
or
type of people.
where they can get identification.
Did you just hear that? These type of people? But I'm totally not racist. But these type of people typically live in areas where nobody knows how to do anything.
Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Blacks
Do you think
are poor.
that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how
They don't know how.
it works. Like,
Oh!
some people have smartphones, but you might not have data. For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed. I also think there's a
Because they're not aware. They're not informed. They can't afford internet. They may have a smartphone, but they don't know how to use it. Wow.
Wait, it gets better.
Wow.
how if you're a convicted felon, like you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a
Hey, lady, what does that have to do with blacks? Just curious.
huge population of the like African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem.
Say per capita again. I dare you. Say per capita again. I double dog dare you.
African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
Well, they got to have ID so they can get their welfare.
Why would they say that?
Do you have
See
ID?
what I did there?
Yes.
Because I have my ID.
Why would they say that?
ID, so like, we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. Like, that's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy camera?
I know, right?
That's the only thing I brought with me. Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is, Ryan?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue.
I know where it's at. It's on 25th Street. I got mugged. I got mugged yesterday right over there on 25th Street.
By a white. He was on meth.
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Would you have a problem getting there if you had to get there?
Yeah.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there? No problem.
No problem.
Just check it. Okay. And I also heard a lot that black.
I like how annoyed they all sound.
What are you talking about?
Why are you asking this stupid
Can't
question?
figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly. Everybody has access to the internet. Even a little kid can figure out how to work the internet.
I had access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly, right?
Exactly. I do it at work. So, of course, I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data? You can access the internet
Unlimited.
with unlimited data.
I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant. That's what my thought process was.
I just think that's ignorant. Ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the word I hear
very
a lot.
ignorant.
Ignorant.
Very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
Ignorant.
I think it is a little racist because, you know, you're putting people in a
just a
category
little.
and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
Judging somebody, like, but you judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it.
What people are they talking to? Who are these people talking to?
Would you have an issue if there was a rule saying you got to show your ID before you vote?
All right.
You get the idea.
We definitely get the
Yeah.
point. And actually, that's true too. So voter ID is overwhelmingly popular, to the tune of 75 to 85%, depending on what poll you look at. It's overwhelmingly popular, and it crosses partisan lines. So Democrat and Republican, it want secure elections. They want voter ID. Now, where the big discrepancy comes in is white Democrats, white leftists. All of a sudden, it drops to like 40%, which even for them is still pretty high. But when blacks, Hispanics, Asians, when any minorities are polled, they are overwhelmingly for voter ID to the tune of, again, 75 to 85%. They want it too. It's essentially white leftists who don't want it because of the soft, really it's hard bigotry, but you know, the soft bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah, those people
and of course,
don't know how to do it.
There's in their in their minds, the people who they purport to protect, minorities, are too stupid to help themselves and be able to vote. So in the mind of a white leftist, they will lose elections if the idiot minorities who vote for them can't vote, but they're too stupid to get the ID to vote if there was voter ID laws. So how's that for some pretty fancy racism to unpack? We need your vote, but you're too stupid to do it if we made you show ID.
Now, hold on and let me put on 2 face masks and go riot in the streets on your behalf.
That's a nice neighborhood you blacks got there. It'd be a shame if it were to be set on fire.
Reset the simulation, please, to something like 2015. We need a redo. We need a mulligan.
Oh man, it's just stuff you can't make up. Like we couldn't write this stuff if we tried.
I'm telling you what. Okay, I have, or that's the shots, or is there mas?
Yeah, no, that was good enough. We already segued from it, but you know, you get the idea. It was, yeah, this popped into my feed.
Yes.
It's like 4, 5, 6 days ago because it was the 6-year anniversary of when that open letter came out.
Yeah.
And that is when they, to our face, literally said it is okay to protest, but it is not okay to go walk your dog or go to the grocery store or go hang out with your buddies or go to church,
right,
or do anything like that. Because
right.
Literally saying COVID can't get you if you do this political thing, but it will get you if you do these things. I mean, it's in writing. As always, if we just look, listen, and pay attention, they tell us the truth. Well, they tell us the truth of what they think.
Yep, this is what the new normal looks like. And just before we move on to the last of the clips for this week, I just to relate, I remember a conversation I had with one of my very few skeptic friends, because most of my friends, of course, bought hook, line, and sinker into everything and have never rethought any of what happened. I remember talking to one of my skeptic buddies who was like, when this came out, because it was so ridiculous, And they blanketed everybody with it. I mean, it wasn't like you had to be listening to, NPR. Like it became the predominant messaging across the entirety of the apparatus for basically like the whole summer, or at least that's what it felt like, maybe a month or two. And my buddy was like, oh, well, this is so ridiculous that like, surely this is the end of the line. Like it's, March, April, May, June, it's been a few months, but surely this is the end of the line. Like no one's going to keep going along with it after this. And I just laughed. I was like, oh, just wait, dude. They will go along with it for as long as they are told.
It's crazy.
Okay, well, here's a little levity from the Pend d'Oreille County firefighter.
Authorities arrested a Pend d'Oreille County firefighter who now faces charges of voyeurism. Court documents show that 37-year-old Martin Shire faces one charge of first-degree attempted voyeurism after he allegedly placed his phone under the door of the fire station bathroom, attempting to take pictures or videos of one of his coworkers getting out of the shower. Shire appeared before a Pend d'Oreille County judge
Please
this
tell
morning.
me the coworker is a dude.
I was going to say that's exactly where my mind went.
Gay?
I'm assuming, I mean, I know there are female firefighters, but there are not very many of them. I think the chances are pretty likely that he was looking to see one of his dude coworkers showering.
Videos of one of his coworkers getting out of the shower. Shire appeared before a Pend d'Oreille County judge this morning where he pleaded not guilty to the charge against him. He was released after posting bond, and the judge signed a no contact order preventing him from interacting with the coworker as he awaits trial. His next hearing will be on July 15th at 9 a.m.
Well, how does that work if you work in the same fire station? You guys drive separate fire trucks to the fire, and okay, Bob, I guess you put out the east end of this building and I'll put out the west end of this building, and then we'll meet in the middle and put out each other.
I don't know how it works. But it got me to thinking when I heard
Nobody
this,
knows what it means, but it's provocative.
If you were a gay man, this would be it's like my brother's buddy who took, I believe it was ballet or tap dance, where it was him and 17 chicks, but he was straight. I was like, yes, this is the way. This would be one of those shower scenes from an 80s movie where it was just like a row of 10 girls just stark raving naked taking a shower. There were lots of 80s movies that had that exact scene in it. And that's what it would be like. Like if you were a gay man, this is the exact job you should seek.
Heaven. Just like heaven. Yeah, man.
Good times. Good luck, Martin.
Yeah, but I mean, you probably should have picked a different venue. The San Francisco Firehouse, they're probably all about that shit. In fact, I'm sure every single one of those MFers is gay. That's probably a prerequisite now. You either got to be a woman, black, or gay, or you don't even get to be a firefighter. So, yeah, Pend d'Oreille, bad choice, dude. That was a bad choice.
I felt really gay last night.
I wonder how much public money, taxpayer money, is going to be spent on this between the trial, which is taxpayer money, and paying this guy while he's on leave.
Yeah.
And then if we actually can fire him, because it's so damn hard to fire public employees of any kind, it's ridiculously hard to fire them. But let's say we can actually fire the guy. Then what kind of a severance package is he going to get? It's going to be a Boise style. I mean, Boise, because Boise showed us if there's one way to go, and it's the best way to go, it's basically just be a public employee and then just bounce from city to city or department to department. Get your ass fired a couple of times. You get a severance package, you get platinum benefits, and then you just flit around to a new department or a new city where you just get to sign a new contract and double down and make even more money. And I mean, this is common knowledge for people.
Don't worry, dude. These types of transactions are only 2.4% of the budget.
Right.
That's where they would use percent instead of a raw number.
Right.
There we go.
Here is the ranking for where Coeur d'Alene is at for small businesses, according to the mainstream.
I'll tell you what. Real quick, hold on. I'm sorry. I got to go back to this one other thing. I was just thinking, for a minute, I thought this guy could get away with it because, I wasn't peeking in the windows. I was just making sure that the house was structurally sound and could survive a fire.
Yeah.
But actually, you can't even make that argument because you literally just snuck in on the dude taking a shower. So,
well, that's really great.
You're trying to see if the shower was structurally sound and could withstand a fire. I don't know.
The thing is, Martin, we took your phone into evidence, and in your Photos app, there were 400 pictures in a row of the underside of a ball
That's
sack.
not mine.
So you want to explain that? It's not mine. Well, we had your address on it. That's not mine. Here's how Coeur d'Alene ranks for small businesses, according to the mainstream.
A new study shows small businesses in Coeur d'Alene have been booming in recent years. Co-working Cafe analyzed 179 small cities around the U.S., and Coeur d'Alene made the national list. It ranked as the 14th best small U.S. metro for small business success. The most interesting finding from this study was that the small business survival rate this year is 90%. Business owner Beth Rich, who's owned Mix It Up for 8 years, gives credit to the strong community support she receives from locals and out-of-towners who keep coming back.
Key to the success of all that is Coeur d'Alene is that Coeur d'Alene is a community first, and then all of the business, all of the commerce, all of the the resorts and the activities and everything were built on top of a foundation of community.
Coeur d'Alene's economy grew by more than 50% between 2019 and 2023. That's the second highest growth rate among small cities.
Why might that be? Seems like
this is such a circle jerk puff piece. I mean, give me a break. Everything about it is crap.
I thought you'd like that.
It makes me think of, what was it, 2 podcasts ago when Governor Little, who likes to talk about how awesome Idaho's doing, and it's all because of him, even though almost none of it's pretty much in spite of him and his cronies. But boy, they love to take credit for it. Well, that's exactly what's going to go on here. Is the city council is going to be like, see, we're doing a great job. And it's like, actually, this could be way better if you guys would just get the fuck out of the way. But they're going to pat themselves on the back for it.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Yeah. And I'm shocked. And I'm sure downtown's doing great. Downtown's always doing great. That's the thing is, she mentioned the resort and like, oh yeah, the resort. And if you're in real estate, it's really good. And if you're in the mortgage business, it's really good. And if you're in lending, it's really good. And if you're a developer, it's really good. But
community,
the community. If you're tied in with the legacy people and the NIR, the North Idaho Republicans, it's really good. I mean, it's true that the Coeur d'Alene cartel, they are pro-business. They are pro-business, but they're pro their business. If you compete against them or are not a part of their cabal and in the industries that they love and are a part of, then get fucked. They do not care, or they will actively work against you. Try to remove regulations that make life hard on you, but that don't hurt them. They'll try to stop you. They love regulations. They love the way things are set up right now because it benefits them. So they are pro-business, but they are not pro-free market. That is for sure. And it's a nice sounding stat too, to say that like this year, only 90% of businesses didn't fail. I'm thinking, that actually, knowing what you and I know about small business, that's a pretty good rate. But
90%.
But what an interesting, right? Like what an interesting way to frame it. He was like, okay. Well, tell us what it was in 2020, please.
Yeah.
And 21 and 22
And how did they phrase it?
The most interesting finding from this study was that the small business survival rate this year is 90%.
Small business survival rate. Which
maybe that's just across the board. That might not even be for Coeur d'Alene.
No, that is a for Coeur d'Alene stat. I quickly looked up the company that did this. What are they? The name of it was?
A new study shows Co-working Cafe.
Co-working Cafe. I looked them up, and they basically they do like SEO data gathering, and then they're basically looking to do like lead generation. So they're like, oh, here's what this city.
Of course they are.
Yeah, of course. So that's their business model.
Gay.
Fake and gay. But the notion that 9 out of 10 businesses, the survival rate. Now, of course, the only people who know what a business's books look like are ownership. Everybody else is just guessing. So when I'm thinking that when they say survivor, they are surviving, they just mean the doors haven't closed, like it's still operating.
Yeah.
That does not mean it's operating profitably.
Which is why I thought it was it's a loaded way. What's the word I want? It's a very biased way of looking at it. Very biased. I mean, when you judge success by by a lack of epic failure, well, then success is pretty easy to find. But yeah, to your point, like, what is the health of the businesses that didn't close? It's only 10% closed. Cool. What is the health of the remainder of them, though?
Well,
it's just, again, it all comes down to what you do with the numbers, the percentages, the raw numbers, how you frame them, how you look at it. It's goofy. It's total crap. And the company or the organization that put this stuff out, it's clickbait type shit. It's networking type shit, MLM type shit. Basically, be a part of our organization and we'll make you feel important, at least for a moment. But we need your participation. We need your money. We want your membership so we can be important. It's network building is what it is. And man, that's a poster child for Coeur d'Alene right there too. Think of the Innovative Collective. What are the something cafe? What were they? The gay cafe? What they call themselves?
It was the
79th co-working cafe.
Co-working cafe. I'll bet you they probably are in the Innovative Collective building downtown in Coeur d'Alene. A place full of people who you're one of two people when you're there. You either need somebody's money and are trying desperately to, be important, or you have money and you really like feeling important. And it's just about collecting people and collecting relationships and building a network and all of the buzzwords that entails. Ew, gross.
What is the historical small business failure rate in the United States?
Ooh, it's high.
I wasn't able to find a specific historical small business failure rate in the US from that search. If you'd like, I can try again with different terms, or if you have a specific time period or source in mind, I can refine the search.
Yeah.
Let's say from 2010 to 2020.
I wasn't able to find a specific historical small business failure rate in the US between 2010 and 2020 from the search. If you need...
Weird. So it won't give it to me.
Okay, hold on. Let's try it a different way. You want from 2010 to 2020?
I don't know. I didn't have a specific time period in mind. He just forced me to give him specifics.
All right, let's do 2010 to 2026. We'll just do that. Between 15 and 20 million businesses permanently closed from 2020 to 2026.
Oh,
that's per the U.S. Small Business Administration. Say what?
Oh, well, that's post 2020. So I got from chamberofcommerce.org.
Matters.
Yes, of course it does. Yes, and we've covered it on this program, and we'll continue to, because everyone is so many are making believe that period didn't take place, and that the leaders who stepped all over businesses in that time just have our best interests in mind. So according to the chamberofcommerce.org, another organization that failed miserably when they were most needed in that year, the failure rate of new startups across all industries is currently 90%. Which that was my understanding.
Failure rate?
Yes, so that was my understanding, is that that was an inverted statistic, that the survivorship is more like 10%, that the vast majority failed.
Well, but remember, for this year, 2026, 2026, for this specific year, the failure rate was only 10%.
Yes.
Because the time frame does matter.
Of course it does, yes, because in the first year, not as many small businesses fail in the first year.
Well, in any single year, not as many fail. But as far as new businesses, if we want to talk new business, across all industries, the failure rate's about 25% for the first year.
Yeah,
across the industry that you and I both come from, which is hospitality, the failure rate is like 75% in the first year.
So that's tainting my vision too, is because retail hospitality is a particularly high number.
Yes. Yeah. You and I both come from a background in our businesses where the failure, it's insane. I mean, like to make it 5 years is almost miraculous. Mm-hmm. To make it longer is a whole nother level. I mean, so the first year, it's a failure rate of, it's right around 70-ish%, 75%. It's massive. And then if you take that timeline and make it 5 years, the failure rate is like 92%.
Exactly. So that's what I was remembering. So let's try it a different way. Let's say after 5 years of operation in the retail hospitality sector, approximately what percentage of businesses are still operating?
I wasn't able to find a specific percentage for how many.
What good are you, honestly? Now I'm remembering why I got rid of this stupid thing.
Yeah. See, are you hearing this, everybody? Listeners who want Chauncey? I hope you're hearing this. I know more than Chauncey.
It's ridiculous. Here, okay.
And he has everything at his disposal. I'm just a man with needs and a phone and a fire department shower.
Why can't blacks get voter ID?
The issue is complex and often tied to structural and systemic barriers. In many cases, it's
structural and systemic barriers. That's what it does know. That's what Chauncey does know, is that there's structural and systemic barriers. Basically, Chauncey is the lefty white chick on the streets of Brooklyn.
You all heard it here first, folks. Chauncey's a racist. Vote for Paul.
Let's do one final one for this week. And it is with regard to housing, the perpetual housing shortage and everything so expensive in Idaho.
Still can't believe I'm defending my career against this. All right, this is better. Close the book on it now. You people and your love of Chauncey. This should end the debate at this point right now.
You would think. Just like, hey, go in the streets for the commie riots, but the air is dangerous. That should have ended the debate too. But
Well, we are still in a housing crisis. There aren't enough homes. Too many people want them. And everyone seems to have a different theory about who ruined the market. Some blame investment firms or zoning laws or their neighbor who owns 3 Airbnbs with that live, love, laugh sign. So let's bring in Justin Coeur, who deserves, this is the big question for you, who deserves the most angry comments overall here?
Well, there's a lot of blame to go around, Hunter, so keep those angry comments coming, but stop blaming me. I've been blamed before. It's not my fault, though. That's the one thing I can say.
Did this guy go to the School of Columbia Broadcasting, too? Because it's not as bad as what's his putz with perfect hair?
that would be John Webb.
I know. Thank you, John Webb. Yeah. God.
It's a Webb with 3 B's.
Hair and the guy with the perfect hair.
Yeah.
This dude, Jared, is not far off. Well, Shauna, there's a lot of blame to go around, but I wish people would stop blaming me for my phone and my love of voyeurism.
I've been blamed before. It's not my fault, though. That's the one thing I can say. And whenever I do a housing story, someone texts in blaming one of those big private equity firms like Blackstone for buying up a bunch of homes and then renting them out.
It's not
essentially
actually
taking them off the market. Again, that's already low on supply, driving up prices. But how much of this is actually happening? Well, I talked to Max Coursey, a local real estate broker with 24 years in the business. He says investor properties are a factor in the housing crisis, but far from the only factor.
We've kind of always had investors here. Right now, I would say about 20% of the market in Ada County, those properties are owned by investors. The vast majority of those are what we call mom and pop investors, people who own 1 to 10 units. There are larger institutional investors, but that's typically about 1% of the market. So it does play a role, but I wouldn't say it's the number 1 driver of the unaffordability crisis.
Of course, he says slow construction,
are they going to tell
low
us,
wages,
though?
and
well,
they're not going to tell us the real answer, are they?
They'll tell you exactly what you need to know. No, just wait for it.
This is the same exact question with the same exact answer as to why gas prices are so high in Washington versus Idaho. The answer is the same.
Of course, he says slow construction, low wages, and inward migration.
Slow construction. Gee, why might that be?
But why is construction slow?
I don't. Well, it just because those steam shovels, from 1811, they just don't work very quickly.
Low wages.
It's those super greedy ass developers who know that the slower they develop, the more money they make.
Corporate greed.
Low wages and inward migration from rural towns into the Boise metro are all factors as well. And I asked him what he says.
It's also
to young
low
people
wages. It has nothing to do with the cost of living changes that have, reasons for why those are happening. It's low wages. It's not the fact that your money's been fucked up.
Corporate greed.
Yeah. Inward migration.
No, the guy who paid me $100, who's paid me $100 for the last couple of years, I don't know, per hour, per week, per whatever. Yeah, it was fine 3 years ago, but now it's a low wage 3 years later. Why is that? And why is that? Am we going to ask that question? Why is that $100 worth so much less?
and inward migration from rural towns into the Boise metro are all factors as well. And I asked him what he says to young people who say this housing crisis will never end and they will never be able to buy a home.
I have 3 kids.
Yes, it will. I know the answer to that. You ready for it?
Hit me.
Wait for your parents to die.
I have 3 kids, 17 to 22, who are
and they're sitting on the edge of their seat waiting for me to croak.
Who are 6th generation Idahoans, and I've heard that from them. I really do think it will change. You know, the real estate market moves slow, and there's this pendulum of supply and demand, and I strongly believe it will get more affordable. It's you know, unfortunate how expensive it is right now, but what they can control is get good skills, save some money, try and pay off some debt, try and improve your credit. And then when the affordability situation improves, you're going to be ready to pull the trigger and buy a house and, you know, be able to partake in the American dream.
So potential home buyers can control themselves. They cannot control interest rates, prices, yada, yada.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. I got something for this.
But the fault lies in all of you. You who bought that $300,000 house when you only had $20,000 to put down. You who bought that 3rd car even though only 2 people in your home drive. It is time to stop pointing fingers. Finger pointing gets us nowhere. Steve, we have mocked our economy, and now the economy has cast its vengeance upon us all. He's right. This is the first guy to actually make sense.
Why does it sound like that's being played in a tunnel?
I don't know, man. I did the best I could. I pulled it up. I pulled it up quick. I Googled or I YouTubed Randy Marsh on the economy. This is the episode of, you know, this is from like 15 years ago now during the like 08 crisis. The South Park did an episode where Randy Marsh is basically like the prophet on behalf of the economy. And he gets up there and he's like, the economy wishes us to do this. Behold and lo, the economy. Yeah, that's what that Jeremy dude just made me think of when he's like, you know, people just need to hunker down and pay off some debt and, you know, be careful with their finances and just bide their time and wait for their parents to die, and then they can finally buy a home.
Well, I do like the part.
And the reasons why, are because of low wages that are somehow low now, but they weren't 3 years ago. Well, I'll tell you why.
Well, this
immigrants,
realtor,
but not the kind of immigrants you should be upset about.
This realtor that they're interviewing here, he doesn't even offer because he says, I strongly believe that affordability will improve. And anyway, the kids should work on their credit and pay off debt. And then that way, when it improves, they'll be in a position to buy. But why does he think it's going to improve? He never says.
Thou must have faith in the economy.
Ah.
Do not question the economy. The economy sees and knows all.
So potential home buyers can control themselves. They cannot control interest rates, prices, yada, yada. And it's important to point out that since the 80s, the cost of housing has far outpaced wage growth, something else they cannot control. Hunter?
I know this is a question that probably a lot of people are asking, but does he believe it's going to ever turn around?
So Hunter wasn't paying attention to her own stupid segment, but
people
okay.
People are asking, but does he believe it's going to ever turn around?
He does, but he pointed out that he thinks everybody needs to work together, from government to government. And again, he also pointed out government.
Now, if they were actually kind of, doing a informative segment, that's what it sounded like for your listening pleasure. Unfortunately, here's what
Who watches this stuff?
Well, hold on.
Who listens to these people or watches these people and thinks, yeah, no, this is like, it's like, okay, hold on.
It's like watching a bunch of retards trying to fuck a doorknob out there.
He thinks everybody needs to work together, from government to government. And again, he also pointed out government.
That's what it would have sounded like if it were. Okay, here's what it
You're
actually.
Being serious.
Yeah. Here's what it actually sounded like.
He thinks everybody needs to work together, from government to nonprofits to private businesses. And again, he also pointed out that it took years to get to this point of unaffordability, so it's going to take years to turn things around.
I know, I got to say, I was looking at the rental market recently. Wow, a lot higher than I remember. I think it was like $700 when I got my first apartment.
Uh-huh.
How old are you?
These guys act like it's some nebulous magical thing. Like we don't, nobody, but what does it mean? Nobody knows, but it's going to take time. What? Like, no, I could tell you right now, we got to wrap up the show because it's about time.
Yes, we do.
Think. But like I could spend the next 5 hours telling you there's half a dozen factors to it. And almost all of them are directly connected to bad monetary and fiscal policy, thanks to the government at every level and regulatory policy. So it's a three-legged stool that, and then there's other factors below that, but those are byproducts of the three main factors: bad fiscal policy, bad monetary policy, and bad regulatory policy, all of which are the purview and the monopolistic domain of
the state.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. Government is a benevolent force that provides services and wants the best for us and is just looking out for our health and safety. And if their budgets are busted, it's just because inflation gave them no choice, man.
Up next on Public Radio, what you don't know about raw avocado toast might kill you and your housing dreams.
Raw
Stay
milk,
tuned at 5.
Think of it as raw sewage.
So very charming. Whoa, wait a minute. Why is this so loud? I don't like that.
I don't know, man. You're the one controlling it.
Damn it. My timing
Our outro has vocal fry too now.
Dude, hold on a second. My timing was freaking perfect, but my volume
was
shot?
Perfect.
What happened?
Ruined.
Hold on. There we go. How did it get jacked up like that? Stupid soundboard. Sorry. God. All right. I demand perfection from myself every week.
Pointed out,
well, many Americans.
Oh, and I'm screwing it up left and right. Here's what I was trying to do.
Well,
many Americans frazzled.
Are having trouble adjusting to the new normals. We're seeing it across the country.
Yeah, I'm having trouble adjusting to the new normal, man, where every time I press a freaking button on this thing, it doesn't work how I want it to. It's the new normal. Yes, the new normal.
Press the button and it does what it's supposed to do. You just press the wrong buttons at the wrong time.
I'm screwing it up. All right, well, hopefully, this is episode number 32 of No ID in the Can. Hopefully on episode 33, it'll be executed with perfection like I demand. Episode 33, I'm just saying, all the no agenda knights and dames out there, or even douchebags, it would be a perfect time to return some value to your No ID show, media deconstruction in a hyper-local form.
First one to do a 33.33 donation will get to make a song selection.
Hey,
how about that?
There you go. You heard it here. So if you go to Dueling Pianos, you got to slip a little Finsky in there with your request. It works the same around here. F you, pay me. And with that sentiment, heartfelt and harsh as it may be.
Yeah, well, tough love. You only hurt the ones you love.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And, of course, we do appreciate all the value returned in all forms, time, talent, and treasure. Please remember us at noidshow.com, and we'll see you next week for episode 33. Until then, from Post Falls, I'm Scott.
And I'm Paul. Taxation is theft.
Raw milk, think of it as raw sewage.
I only drink milk from a mason jar raw while wearing my white hood.